Hello, and welcome to the National Managers Community, or NMC Managers Connect virtual talks for May 14th, 2020. I'm Lisbeth Savard, Regional Manager for the Prairies and Northwest Territories. Bienvenue à Gestionnaires Connect, conversation virtuelle de la Communauté nationale des gestionnaires, la CGN. Pardon, la CNG. Je suis Lisbeth Savard, gestionnaire régionale de la région des Prairies et des Territoires du Nord-Ouest. Savez-vous que la CNG célèbre son 20e anniversaire cette année? Yes, it's true. The NMC has been around for 20 years. Virtual talks is one of the ways that the NMC is working to engage with the over 40,000 managers and aspiring managers across the country on topics of importance to you. Aujourd'hui, nous allons discuter l'embauche d'étudiants, un sujet de l'heure. So today we will be discussing student hiring. Veuillez noter que cet événement est enregistré. Please note that this event is being recorded. Kindly turn off your video if you haven't already done so and put yourself on mute. Again, if it hasn't been done. For optimal viewing, please connect off VPN. If you are connected on your VPN, you can simply connect to Wi-Fi and you shouldn't lose the connection. Donc, veuillez s'il vous plaît éteindre votre vidéo et vous mettre en sourdine si cela n'a pas déjà été fait. Vous pouvez poser vos questions dans le clavardoir dans la langue officielle de votre choix. So please feel free to use the chat for your questions in the official language of your choice. Sans plus tarder, I will pass the floor over to Kim Macies, Executive Director for the NMC, to begin our virtual talks.
Thank you, Lisbeth. Merci beaucoup. Good morning to those of you joining us in the West et bon après-midi à ceux qui nous joignent du centre et l'est du Canada. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the National Managers Community Managers Connect virtual talks, focusing today on hiring students and onboarding. I'm just going to ask before we get started if we can share the screen and so I can also see my two guests. Okay, I see my guests. Welcome. Oh, I can't hear you, Kathleen.
Thank you for having us. Sorry.
Thanks. Vinh Du, I believe you're still on mute as well.
Yes, hi. Hi, Kim. Very pleased.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just get into it right now. So, je voudrais présenter nos invités, Monsieur Vinh Du Nguyen, directeur principal développement des produits et recrutement de la Commission de la fonction publique du Canada, qui est basée dans la région de Québec à Montréal, et Madame Kathleen Clarkin, acting executive director, people management and community engagement from OCHRO, and Kathleen as well is located here in the NCR. Bienvenue à cette conversation virtuelle de la communauté nationale des gestionnaires intitulée Les gestionnaires Connect. This is a bilingual session et nous vous invitons à vous sentir libre de poser vos questions dans la langue officielle de votre choix. And just another announcement, just for viewing optimization, if you could please make sure you're muted and that your cameras are off. Kathleen, Vinh Du, before we get into the session, I would like to know if you had a favorite summer job and what made it your favorite summer job. While you think about it, I will tell you what mine was. I was Municipal Max, the Stoop and Scoop mascot for the city of Ottawa. So yes, I wore a big dog costume. So what I liked about it, beyond being incognito, my managers, they gave me a lot of autonomy, a lot of excellent feedback, and it really made me start wondering whether I wanted a career in the public service. Vinh Du, Kathleen, what were your favorites?
Well, Vinh Du, if you don't mind if I go first, I'd have to say I was very lucky and spoiled for my first student job. I was a parliamentary page. So it was an amazing introduction to government and how it works and how important each of us are in shaping this place. And it's an amazing workplace as well. I've not worked in anything quite so beautiful since. No offense to my current work.
We'll just let that one go. Exactly. Wow, that must have been a great experience as a student. Wow. Vinh Du, est-ce que vous avez quelque chose à partager?
Oui, certainement. Moi, je dirais que mon emploi d'étudiant préféré serait probablement un stage que j'ai effectué au service de police de Montréal pendant mes études. Non, je n'étudiais pas technique policière pour ceux qui se le demandent, mais bien en psychologie industrielle et organisationnelle. That internship has allowed me to concretely apply what I was learning at school by developing an assessment center for new police recruits, which was really exciting. The opportunity to sort of, to be part of that world, right? Understanding how a police department works. And it was also my first, I would say, interaction with a public service, the municipal public service. So that was, to me, an amazing experience.
Wow, those are all three of our positions, very, very different. That's great. Well, we might as well get into it. Kathleen, is it too late to hire summer students for 2020?
I'm so glad you asked. And as the best songs go, it's never too late. In fact, as Vinh Du's probably going to tell you soon, there's a great inventory of amazing students who are kept year-round, and so even part-time during the school year across the government, across the country, there's fabulous candidates. So don't delay and don't feel you've missed the boat.
Great advice. Vinh Du, quels sont les programmes à faire par la Commission de la fonction publique pour embaucher les étudiants? I believe you're on mute. Sorry.
I just unmuted myself. Sorry about that. Thanks for the question, Kim. First, I wanted to mention that hiring students, of course, remains a top priority for the public service, as they represent the future, of course, of our federal public service. Not only students contribute to the needs and future of the federal public service, but we have to remember that the thousands of government student jobs also provide them with the required learning and skills development. Now, for your information, CWIL, which is the Co-op and Work Integrated Learning Association, share with us the survey result, right, which indicates that about 16,000 students have been matched with a placement as of March this year, but compared to last year, that was 23,000. Okay. They also observe that close to 16,000 students are still looking for placement, compared to only 7,000 in March last year. Ce que ça veut dire, c'est que plus du double des étudiants n'ont toujours pas d'emploi cet été, en comparaison avec l'an dernier. La première chose que j'aimerais vous faire part, c'est que la CFP, la Commission de la fonction publique, on continue nos activités de présentation de candidats aux gestionnaires qui veulent embaucher des étudiants. Et comme Kathleen le disait si bien, il n'est pas trop tard. So hiring managers can still submit requests for student referrals through the FSTAR program. And I'm here to talk to you about the recruitment option available to you. Okay. I don't know if the slides are being shared on screen.
I think we can put them on for you.
Okay, perfect. It's just to provide some visuals of the program. Now, the most well-known student programs, and most of you are probably aware of that, is the Federal Student Work Experience Program, known as FSWEP. You can hire students full-time during the summer and part-time, of course, the rest of the year. Now, we currently have over 59,000 students in the inventory. This year, we've seen a drop in the number of student requests. Okay? There were 139 requests in April compared to 982 last year. So I strongly encourage you to consider hiring students instead of, for example, hiring casuals where possible. Vous voyez donc le nombre de demandes pour l'embauche des étudiants a baissé significativement, de 982 à 139 comparé à l'an dernier. Donc, je vous encourage à embaucher davantage d'étudiants plutôt qu'utiliser, par exemple, l'embauche d'occasionnels, lorsque cela est possible, bien sûr. Une autre option pour vous, c'est le programme coop et de stage qui vous permet vraiment d'embaucher des étudiants tout au long de l'année. You can hire staff top students full-time throughout the year based on the list of validated post-secondary institutions and programs that can be found on the PSC website. Now, you can easily connect with the university program coordinators to determine the best way to post and reach students for your job opportunity. What I would encourage you to do is to consider universities from across the country, especially when the work can be done remotely. Ne vous limitez surtout pas seulement aux universités dans votre région pour vos stages coop, pour vous permettre de trouver le meilleur étudiant pour vos postes, surtout lorsque le travail à distance est possible. Finally, there's the research affiliate program that is maybe less known to managers in the public service, that enables you to hire post-secondary students to advance your organization's research agenda. Now, students can work part-time for an average of about 25 hours a week, mostly, on research projects, and their placement can last as long as the research project requires, providing, of course, that they remain full-time a student. The research project, and this part is good to be reminded of, does not need to be in a typical scientific field, as long as it is related to the student current program. Il n'est donc pas nécessaire que votre projet de recherche soit dans un domaine scientifique pour utiliser le programme, en autant que ça soit relié au programme d'études de l'étudiant, puis ça lui permet de développer ses compétences de recherche. Now, I wanted to remind everyone also that once a student has been hired through any of these programs, they can easily be rehired through FSWEP without having to go through the inventory again or additional steps such as security clearance. You can also rehire a student that worked previously in another department. N'hésitez donc pas à embaucher des étudiants, même ceux qui ont travaillé dans un autre ministère, puisque c'est un processus relativement rapide. Remember that student hiring can definitely be part of your longer-term recruitment strategy and talent pipeline for future indeterminate position. On the next slide, I will briefly talk about our EOSD and ICO program. Donc, je vous encourage aussi de soutenir vos objectifs d'équité en emploi en embauchant des étudiants des initiatives OOSH et OEEA. Bon, c'est un peu difficile à dire. On a plus de 1900 étudiants auto-déclarés comme personnes autochtones et presque 3000 en situation de handicap dans le répertoire. Donc, vous choisissez simplement les critères d'équité en emploi appropriés lors de votre demande. You can simply select the employment equity criteria for persons with disabilities or Aboriginal people when requesting students from the FSWEP ongoing inventory to hire students for these initiatives. Okay. What's very interesting is that as part of the ICO and EOSD as part of the ICO and EOSD initiatives, both students and managers have access to resources such as mentoring session, networking activities, and onboarding tools. All this information is available on the GCpedia EOSD and ICO resource page. Finalement, j'aimerais vous parler de la question importante des mesures d'adaptation pendant le processus d'évaluation, puisque tous les candidats y ont droit. Il est important que vous informiez vos candidats de ce droit dès que possible. Accommodations require early planning to be both effective and efficient. Inform candidates of their right to request accommodations as soon as possible. While many accommodations do not require a lot of time or resources to implement, you can access resources available to you to facilitate the process. For example, the Personnel Psychology Center of the PSC can provide you with guidance and documentation on assessment accommodations. The AAACT program from Shared Services Canada can also support you with technological needs of candidates and employees requiring accommodations. Note that the AAACT continues to operate at full capacity right now. They're shifting to remote assessment with employees and their manager, and they can actually provide equipment directly to employees at their home address where appropriate. The PSC have also partnered with AAACT to offer priority services for the EOSD initiative. So if you hire a student with disability, don't hesitate to contact them. Alors, n'hésitez pas de communiquer avec les ressources comme le Centre de psychologie du personnel ou le programme de technologie informatique adapté des services partagés pour mieux vous outiller à fournir les mesures d'adaptation appropriées à vos étudiants. Finalement, la prochaine diapositive vous offre quelques liens utiles, dont ceux que j'ai mentionnés pendant ma présentation. N'hésitez pas à communiquer avec le bureau de la CFP dans votre région si vous avez des questions. So don't hesitate, please, to contact the PSC office in your region for any questions. Thank you.
Merci, Vinh Du. And for participants' information, we will be sending out Vinh Du slides following the presentation. Kathleen, we're in an altered state of affairs right now. What special measures and interim exemptions are in place right now to make sure student hiring administratively is a little easier?
Thanks, Kim. Comme vous disiez, c'est vraiment un temps non précédent. On se voit. Il y a tant de différentes choses qu'on fait en ce moment avec tous nos partenaires pour vraiment s'assurer que ce soit un processus facile pour embaucher les étudiants. So working with our key partners, we've put together a series of guidance pieces that can help to take away some of the misconceptions about and some of the barriers that are there. So one of the very basic pieces, but that was a significant issue for students because many registrars' offices were closed, was to provide an attestation form that they can use to confirm that they're returning to school. And that way they don't have to wait for their academic institutions to sign off on paperwork. Additionally, some of the bigger, heavier lifting that we've worked with colleagues on was some of the temporary variations to the standard on security screening. So very pleased that we were able to get this temporary exemption, or pardon me, temporary variation, but just to be clear, departments do still need to carry out all security screening activities as outlined in the standard, including ensuring a completed security screening application and consent form is on file and conducting a financial inquiry. However, with the temporary variation, it allows departments to grant conditional security statuses in circumstances where fingerprinting can't be conducted due to current physical distancing requirements. So this is a very invasive piece of it. I'd have to say it's hard to social distance while fingerprinting. The use of this variation should be focused on the lower risk positions, and I really encourage you to speak with your departmental HR and security officials for how to proceed in your organization. But using some common sense measures like this, it helps to better reflect the time we're in. So thinking about what is the actual risk involved, how will that student be working, will they even be on site with others? So there's certain pieces that can be deferred to a later time. So that's been a big one that's helped a lot of departments move forward on some they were afraid they couldn't.
That's great information. Thank you, Kathleen. Merci beaucoup. Avec la COVID-19, il est évident que les opérations ne se déroulent pas comme d'habitude. Que peut faire le gestionnaire pour s'assurer que les étudiants se font offrir une expérience significative? Vinh Du, Kathleen, avez-vous des commentaires?
Oui, je peux commencer. Une des choses les plus importantes est s'assurer que l'étudiant se sent comme membre de l'équipe. So the most important thing is to communicate well with that student employee. So ensuring they're engaged, help them connect with the team, help them understand their place, what the work is achieving, so they get a sense of meaningfulness of the work. So just even simple things like making introductions to others and ensuring students feel included in team discussions and meetings. Don't ignore the social aspects of work. Team meetings, for new students, if you can team them up with a buddy on the team, someone to help them navigate the different team dynamics, help them figure out where to find resources and get to know their colleagues, it helps them feel that much more secure. And it's a great piece. But yes, helping them see that and taking that time to explain to them the bigger picture of what their work is contributing to it, I think adds an amazing value.
Can I just add, to build on something that you said, you can also use the Take Me With You program. So if you're managing a student, there's no reason why you can't let them experience other meetings so they can sort of get a glimpse of how Government of Canada decisions are made and some other aspects they might not be familiar with. So yeah, the Take Me With You campaign is also something to consider. Vinh Du.
Oui, ce que j'aimerais ajouter justement à vos propos, c'est l'importance de bien planifier aussi l'arrivée de l'étudiant. s'assurer justement que son horaire, du moins pour la première semaine, soit déjà développé. Ensure that
I think we might need to. No, I think we're good to go. Sorry for the interruption, Vinh Du.
No problem. So, effectively planning the start of a student day and week, actually the whole placement is really important, right? Thinking in advance the work that will be provided to the student and everything that both Kim and Kathleen mentioned to actually plan for it. So when the student comes in, they know what they have to do, what they need to do, and more importantly, you know, as manager in advance, what you need to do and when you will be doing it.
Planning is definitely key to success. I have to agree with you. This is the final question in this part of the discussion before we go to the Q&A with participants. Where can managers find tips and tools for onboarding their students virtually? And what would you recommend that managers do to create a more personal and team connection? I know you mentioned both a few of it, but that connection is so important when you're onboarding students. Do you have anything to offer?
Yes, so we've previously released other guidance with regards to student hiring, and I'm very excited that the third piece will be coming shortly with regards to specific onboarding guidance, both for students, so to help them get a sense of self and how to navigate working in government, as well as for managers to help give them some tips and tricks. So we'll be working with the Canada School of Public Service, and there'll be some specific events as well to provide this more in-depth training and provide questions, but there will also be some key guides to take away at any later date as well to help guide this. So really excited to continue to work with the NMC as well, and the Canada School of Public Service and the Public Service Commission and the Federal Youth Network on all the great opportunities to try to get the message out on how to make this a success.
Vinh Du, est-ce que vous pouvez commenter sur la question?
Oui, j'aimerais qu'on se rappelle aussi que la plupart des étudiants, certains d'entre eux, peut-être c'est leur premier emploi ou vrai emploi, entre guillemets, mais la plupart ne connaissent pas nécessairement la fonction publique fédérale. The PSC, as some of you know, because we do outreach to universities in collaboration with a lot of managers, and especially outside of the NCR, people don't know what the federal government is about. A lot of them don't know much or even nothing about the federal public service. So when they come in, it's brand new to them. So I think keep that in mind and definitely take the time to onboard them properly, not assume that they do. Again, in the NCR, of course, people are more exposed to the federal public service in Ottawa and Gatineau. They have friends, they have family that works for the public service. But outside of the NCR, it's a totally different reality. So maybe I would suggest that we all be mindful of that.
Thank you very much. One thing I'd like to add about, creating that personal and team connection is making sure as a manager, you get to know your student beforehand. So figure out if they're an extrovert, if they're an introvert, how they like to communicate. Kathleen and I were talking in another meeting. I'm like, oh, we send a picture, and Kathleen made a super point. She's like, well, some people are video shy or camera shy. And so just so you sort of can sense how they operate, where their comfort level is, just have that open conversation. Communication is so key to have a successful onboarding. Before we jump to the Q&A with the participants, Josh Frame's going to speak to us very briefly. Joshua Frame is the chair of the Federal Youth Network. Josh, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks, Kim. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with your audience today. So I'm, as Kim mentioned, the national chair of the Federal Youth Network. Mais je préfère le titre en français qui est le président national du réseau des jeunes fonctionnaires fédéraux. Our programming this summer will really be geared towards this virtual environment for students. So generally we partake in in-person events to onboard students as well as engage them throughout the summer. But we will have many virtual offerings this year happening every week starting in June. So focused around student exposure to different departments as well as figuring out sort of their career paths within government. So I'd encourage your students as you hire them to link up with us both online on our Twitter account, our GC Collab group, and these links will also be part of the student onboarding package coming out from OCHRO. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity to connect and to help your students kind of understand the greater government context and where they can see, you know, sort of their future going forward. Alors, merci beaucoup pour cette opportunité.
Merci, Josh. Thanks for dropping in. So thank you, Vinh Du, Kathleen, for providing these great tips and information. At this time, I'll throw the floor over to Lisbeth to see if there are any questions for participants in the chat function. S'il vous plaît, posez vos questions dans la langue de votre choix. Please feel free to ask the questions in the language of your choice. Lisbeth, over to you.
Thank you. So I do see a few questions. Donc la première question, how do students get on the inventory? Donc, comment est-ce que les étudiants peuvent se mettre sur l'inventaire?
Vinh Du?
Oui, certainement. C'est assez simple. Vous avez justement dans les diapos que Kim va vous envoyer l'adresse du site web du programme PFETE. So there is the web address for the FSWEP programs. Student just click on the link and apply. And one thing that we have changed in the recent years is the application process. It used to take a long time. I'm not going to say how long to apply, but there was a lot of information students needed to provide. Now, it should take them less than 10 minutes to apply.
That's great information.
Okay, thank you. Donc la prochaine question, the next question, can we hire a student who will be completing their master's this fall but not continue as a student? Donc, est-ce qu'on peut embaucher un étudiant qui va compléter sa maîtrise à l'automne, mais qui ne va pas continuer à titre d'étudiant?
Sure, maybe I could start. Definitely the student programs are geared towards continuing students. That said, there's lots of other hiring processes. These are great, talented people. There's certainly, you could offer term employment or an indeterminate deployment as well. There's many options. So it's generally, the intent is to try to make sure that the individuals are being fairly for the work they're doing. If they're not continuing at a student function, then we really should be paying them fairly for the work they're doing. So Vinh Du, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit more to the intent or the transition from student to employee.
Yeah, and no, I don't have anything to add. It was very clear, Kathleen. Thank you. But I certainly want to add that, you know, we need to consider also bridging students, right? Especially when they're about to end their degree, to reap the benefit or the investments that we have put in them throughout, you know, it could be a session or even years. It's a great way to appoint students and actually staff your positions quickly.
Yeah, and of course, well, that would be like a non-advertised external appointment under the new direction in staffing, but an amazing justification to be able to provide to say, this person has worked with us, we've seen their work, they understand the context, they have more than demonstrated their merit. So that's certainly helpful.
Great advice.
Merci. Alors, la prochaine question, qu'arrive-t-il avec les étudiants que nous ne pouvons plus engager car ils ne pourront pas avoir accès au réseau? Il nous est impossible de leur trouver d'autres travail car il s'agissait d'étudiants pour IT. So the question is around how can we hire students that no longer have access to the network, and it's not possible for us to find them other work because these were students that were working for IT.
Okay, I could start again. So in many cases, guidance has changed to the different functional communities. So I would still check in with your in-house CFO and see what measures are being made to equip students. I know further guidance was given at the Deputy Minister's Breakfast to really encourage this. That said, if you've made a written offer to the student, that is a contract, then so a minimum payment may still be required to be made. You can also renegotiate the start date with students. So if both parties are in agreement, you could set up a new start date for when the department is more prepared to be able to onboard students. So there's different options. It's worth talking to the students, making sure they're aware of the situation in the case. If it was a verbal agreement, they don't have the same standing. But that said, there's different pieces. And so as mentioned with the security community, they're getting the message out now about the variation to the standard. Similarly with shared services, making provisions and helping expand network access. A lot of students have been given blanket priority, if you will, on the business continuity plan to ensure that the time they're with us is meaningful, that they are equipped and able to do the work. So do check in your own department to see if there has been advancement in that front. And if not, we're happy to receive questions later that we can work through with your case by case. Thank you.
OK, alors Kathleen, si vous permettez, je vais juste apporter une précision à la question parce que comme vous étiez en train de parler, donc la question était en fait, la personne voulait savoir s'il y avait des considérations légales parce qu'ils avaient déjà fait des offres verbales.
OK. Oui, si c'était seulement une offre verbale, non, c'est dommage, mais il n'y a pas vraiment de processus après. Mais si c'était quelque chose à l'écrit, mais oui, c'est un contrat, alors je pense, c'est 2 semaines de paye qu'ils sont dus, ces employés, ou s'ils sont s'ils veulent prendre la flexibilité d'une date ailleurs pour vraiment juste commencer plus tard l'été, il n'y a pas de vraiment distinction, c'est juste que les deux entités sont d'accord du changement de date.
Kathleen, you mentioned you could consider these questions on a case-to-case basis. Where could people write you?
Sure. So we have a mailbox that's wpp-pp@tbs-sct.gc.ca. So it's the workplace policies team in OCHRO.
Okay, so we will include that information. Yeah,
if you'd like, we can post it. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll share that in the email along with Vinh Du's PowerPoint presentation. Elizabeth.
Okay, I think we have probably time for one last question. Okay, so what is the change being offered for the student attestation form? Donc, c'est quoi le changement qui est offert au niveau de l'attestation pour les étudiants, c'est-à-dire le formulaire? Et la question était en anglais, so the question was in English.
OK, je peux le dire dans les deux langues. So, pour le formulaire de l'attestation, the attestation form is newly introduced this year to try to take the place of the previous requirement of confirmation from the educational institution that student is returning or is continuing in their studies. So often the registrar's office could produce proof of payment that they have paid for the next session or other, and many of these pieces were what students relied on to prove that they are in fact still engaged. That said, as mentioned, many universities and colleges have their registrar's offices closed currently during the current situation. So in lieu of that, we're allowing students to attest that, yes, I'm at this institution and I will be heading forward again. So we've shared the template to departments, and I believe the NMC also posted it online following the notification when it came out, and it's been shared with heads of HR as well. So all departments should have access to this, which can be easily sent to students to quickly fill out and validate that they are continuing. Thank you.
So Kim, I'm going to squeeze in another question.
Sure, go for it.
Good one. Yes. Okay, so the question is, I heard that OCHRO has a virtual tool to assist with student onboarding, but I have not been able to find it Yeah, so is it live yet? Donc, la question est qu'il y a un outil virtuel pour aider avec l'embauche des étudiants. Et puis, la personne se pose la question de savoir si que c'est fonctionnel à ce moment-ci. Donc, la question est en anglais.
Okay, so the short answer is the new virtual onboarding toolkit is not yet live. That said, it's based on a lot of the key principles that we had previously shared on GCpedia, so it will be made widely available. But some of the previous suggestions about things like on the first day, try to meet them outside the building, well, that's not happening, obviously. So we've taken a new lens to it to try to really reflect the current reality, but still get all those important pieces done and address the important steps, but in a way that makes sense in this current situation. So that's being reworked. And as I mentioned earlier, we're working with the Canada School Public Service as well and the Public Service Commission, and we'll be really excited to share that soon. So it's coming. Thanks for your patience.
Shall I, is it one more or are we good?
Yeah, let's do one more. Why not?
Okay. You've got the experts right here in front of us.
I was going to say, it's like the encore, you know, we clap and then there's 3 more songs.
Yeah.
I see Vinh Du Nguyen's guitar now. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so maybe this is a quick one. Could you repeat the name of the exemption of security when fingerprints are not available? Because this person would like to ask their HR about this. Donc, c'est le nom de l'exemption au niveau de la sécurité pour les empreintes digitales.
So this is a variation to the security standard. It's the Office of the Chief Information Officer holds the security policy for government, and they have sought permission from the Treasury Board to have this temporary variation to the standard. So again, this is a notice that went out to heads of HR. They should be well aware of this, as well as the security community. It's been well communicated to them as well. But again, if you are in a department that hasn't heard of it, feel free to send us an email and we'll be able to send you the link and the notification afterwards. Thank you.
Any more quick questions, Elizabeth?
I'm just scanning through them very quickly, and I think most of the ones I'm seeing have been answered. So I think those are all the questions that we have for today. Thank you.
Encore, merci beaucoup, Kathleen et Vinh Du, d'avoir pris le temps de répondre à mes questions et ceux des participants. Vous êtes des collègues formidables. Alors, merci beaucoup. The information and tools you shared today will definitely help managers who are in the process of hiring or still considering to hire this summer. Thank you to the NMC team for coordinating and Lisbeth for moderating. Before we say goodbye, I am going to pass it back to Lisbeth, but I wish you all a wonderful day. Merci beaucoup et bonne fin de journée.
Alors, part de la communauté nationale des gestionnaires, je voudrais remercier Kim, Kathleen, Vinh Du et tous les gestionnaires qui ont participé à la session d'aujourd'hui. So I invite you to attend the next National Managers Community Managers Connect event on May 21st. And that'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, featuring a discussion on courageous conversations and performance management hosted by myself. Donc, nous vous invitons à vous joindre à nous en grand nombre à la session du 21 mai à 13h, heure de l'Est, quand nous allons parler de conversations courageuses et de la gestion du rendement. Donc, merci à nouveau et puis bonne fin de journée.
Bonne fin de journée. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you again.